From Quincy, Illinois, all the way to the Vatican, one person has connected us to understand the power of faith and service, and also how these values shape QU today. Father Augustus Tolton became well known in the 19th century as we began to track his progress in becoming the first African American priest in the United States. But his story does not begin there. His family escaped slavery thanks to his mother, Martha Jane Tolton, alongside two of his siblings, and landed near Quincy, Illinois. During his upbringing, Tolton was taken in by multiple pastors from St. Peter Parish, and many could see the religious vocation he provided in his learning. This led to a scholarship to St. Francis Solanus College, which is now Quincy University, where he studied philosophy and the liberal arts. Through this time, he learned the hardships of racism and segregation, as well as the pitfalls of the Catholic Church, where it took 7 years to be accepted into a seminary. After harsh consideration, Father Tolton was eventually accepted for a seminary in Rome. Not only did his progress and influence grow in the Catholic Church, but he also helped advance the progress of Adams County after his ordination in Rome. His purpose from the Vatican was to provide a reason of faith to the African community in the United States. He would hold his first Mass at St. Boniface Church in Quincy. After his stint in the town, he accepted a reassignment to the city of Chicago, where he would live for the remainder of his life, before passing away on a priest retreat at age 43. After his death, he was moved back to Quincy in order to be celebrated by the community. The students of Quincy are less than a 5-minute drive from campus to his burial ground. Father Tolton's grave has been here since 1897 in St. Peter's Cemetery off of Broadway Street. Although Father Tolton has passed for over a century, Quincy still makes sure to come out once a year to celebrate his life on the day of his passing, as well as commemorate the accomplishments he's had with the Catholic Church and the town of Quincy. I had the chance to speak with Reg Ankrum, former executive director of the Historical Society of Adams County, on the importance of Tolton's sacrifice. How do you believe his impact is laid for Quincy and Adams County now?
Yeah, extremely important. As you mentioned, he was the first African American priest in this country. When he was trained in Rome, he didn't believe he would be sent back here because the nation really had no interest in having Catholic priests who were black. But the Cardinal, Giovanni Simeoni, at the propaganda, sent him back here believing that if Americans were as liberal in their thought as they claim to be, then they should have their first black priest, and that was Father Tolton.
So as we see that impact on him, how much do you believe Father Tolton is responsible for bringing in inclusion and diversity into the Catholic Church?
Yeah, he actually did that from a very early point in his priesthood. He came back to Quincy, and he was assigned to a small church, St. Joseph, which was a mission church of St. Boniface, ironically enough. And he became so popular, not only among black parishioners, but among white Catholics of Quincy, that his church tended to be overflowing on Sundays with people who came to hear him. He was apparently a great orator. And in addition to his orations here, he traveled in various spots throughout the country so that people who wanted to hear a black priest could. And so he made his presence known not only here as the first black Catholic priest, but really throughout the country, from New York to Galveston, Texas, and farther points west.
While his accomplishments continue to be admired, the Vatican continues to investigate his impact for sainthood approval.
There is no time limit on it, so it could take 100 years. For some saints, it has taken longer than that. But his progress has been fairly rapid, I would say. It started out in 2011, and he's really at the last step. I understand that, which is the miracle step, the review of his materials, his preaching, his homilies, his theology. All those have already gone through the Vatican and have been approved by the council that does that work, that investigation. And he's now at the last step, in which two miracles are required that that deal with people who are beyond medical help. These are miracles in which people who may face death regain life.
As future endeavors await, there has never been a better time for the community to appreciate the Franciscan values ignited from Augustus Tolton.